Top story this morning, a government report has revealed that the Home Office has lost contact with more than half of migrants that were set for deportation to Rwanda. How does that happen?
Yes, well, according to the figures, just over 2,100 identified for removal can be located out of 5,700 asylum seekers.
Now, this comes as sources claim the Home Office has accepted many migrants would be absconded due to the implementation of the scheme. In response, the government has reiterated the Prime Minister's plans to get flights off the ground over the next few months.
Well, RGB News political correspondent Catherine Fawcett joins us from Westminster. Good morning to you. Look, previously they thought that the £49 a week allowance and free accommodation would be enough of an incentive to keep the asylum seekers checking in with the Home Office. But it seems the Rwanda deterrent means a lot of them have just decided it's not worth it and have gone underground.
Yes, that's right. These are people who arrived illegally, mostly, though not all, on small boats between January 22 and June of 2023 that have been deemed eligible for this scheme. Nearly 6,000 of them, but they only actually know the location of less than half of that number. These are people that regularly have to check in with the Home Office, which leaves over 3,500. The Home Office simply at the moment cannot locate. Now, it was leaked in the papers yesterday that as of yesterday, the Home Office is supposed to be rounding up people and putting them into detention centres from which they cannot leave, ready to be sent on these flights to Rwanda that the government has said will be taking off from July. But of course, easier said than done, because, this £49 a week that you mentioned in the free accommodation, yeah, that's great. But if you are going to be sent to Rwanda on a one-way ticket, and bear in mind that these thousands of people have already been told that their asylum claims are inadmissible and that therefore they are likely to be sent to Rwanda, are they really going to stick around for accommodation and £49 a week waiting to be sent to Africa when many of them have taken huge risks, risked their lives really, to cross the channel to get to Britain? So it will be interesting to see how successfully the Home Office can track these people. And of course, we've now got the ongoing row with the Republic of Ireland, who claim that there's many people that have come in to the United Kingdom illegally, now crossing over to Ireland, because of course there they will be safe from being sent off to Rwanda.
Catherine, just briefly, we've got the Health Secretary coming up in the next half hour, Victoria Atkins. She's going to be talking about renewing the NHS constitution, which they have to do every 10 years, and she's talking about making sure that there are wards that are single-sex only, which a lot of people will think is common sense. But perhaps surprisingly, NHS bosses have come out and said, actually, culture wars should be kept well away from the health service.
Yes, it is, and I think this will be welcome news to many people up and down the country, and women in particular. You'd think that single-sex wards were the standard, but very often still, because of the capacity in the NHS, people do end up on mixed-sex wards. Now, the Health Secretary, Victoria Atkins, as one of a number of plans being announced today, is going to say that the NHS should go by biological sex, and that, any woman who says she wants to be on a single-sex ward should and will have that right. And if that means that a transgender woman is not allowed to be put on that ward, then they will need to be put potentially in a separate room. So I think this will be positive news. It is a consultation, but certainly we've moved a long way, haven't we? The government now feeling very confident to say openly, we need to go by the definition of biological sex. We need to protect women and single-sex spaces.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Thank you. That's going to create a row or 2 or 3 or 5 or 6, isn't it? To say that gender doesn't. What is it saying?
Well, women should be treated in women-only wards, essentially, and they shouldn't be treated alongside men,
so you've
biological
any extra
men.
bits, then you shouldn't be in a woman's ward. Yeah. So that's an interesting one. What was the other thing she was talking about there?
Rwanda. The asylum seekers.
No. People aren't interested in Rwanda.
Oh.
They're not interested. They're bored stiff. People are bored stiff. You see, how ridiculous that half of all people, right, you come into the country, well, this is terrible, we'll stick you up in some hotel that we've commandeered or whatever, and then they have no idea where anyone is.
Well, I think it's very, very alarming. You know, these people often come in without papers. We don't know who they are, and being able to keep track of them is an absolutely essential part of the processing scheme. And to then have these people just disappearing into wherever they've gone, we don't know who they are, what they're capable of. A lot of people, I think, will be concerned by that. Was that an unintended consequence of these Rwanda flights? Because this is the deterrent that has suddenly caused them to go AWOL.
We haven't got the money, we haven't got the resources to look after this. And, you know, like people like the lawyer who we had on yesterday, the human rights lawyer, whatever, have just got to get it through their head. We cannot be responsible for the problems of the rest of the world. We haven't got the money, we haven't got the resources, we can't look after our own people. So why are we expected to look after everybody from all around the world who are on some sort of hard luck story?